and I apologize, I usually have some to pass around, but we do have some up on the bar. It looks like a little seed. It's got a very fibrous husk on the outside, very starchy on the inside, that endosperm. That's what we call the gold mine. That's, as brewers, that's what we're after. If you hear a brewer talk about how efficient their brew house is, they're talking about how efficient they are converting starches inside the grain to sugars. How do I take those 4 ingredients and create the beer that's in your glass? Perfect question, thank you. At your far left, my far right, is where the magic starts. That's called our grain mill. We'll actually get bags of grain, and for one batch of beer, we'll mill anywhere from 600 to 2,600 pounds of grain, depending on how big the beer is, how alcoholic the beer is, how thick the body is. But it all starts over there. So what we want to do when we mill the grain, we want to do more of a coarse crush. We don't want to create a fine powder, because the finer you get it, the harder it is for us to actually work with the material. And we don't want to shred the outside husk. If we shred the outside husk, we can't use it as a natural filter later on in the process. But we'll also extract these beautiful things called tannins. They're actually not very beautiful, they're very astringent, they're very mouth puckering. If you're into wine, imagine if the wine was either in the barrel too long or sat on the grape skins too long, very puckering in the back. It's like you lick the inside of a barrel, not very pleasant. We don't want that. So we don't want to mill the husk too finely. So the mill will actually crack it. We'll get more of a coarse crush on it. And once we're done milling it, we'll auger it up through this PVC tube. There's a metal helix in the middle. That'll move the grain from the grain mill into this first vessel called the mash tun. The grain at this point is called grist, and we mix the grist with hot water when we go to the mash tun. Now we've created mash. The hot water will actually activate an enzyme on the inside of the grain that will start to convert starches to sugars, which is great because my yeast like to eat sugars. Going back to brewhouse efficiency, if you hear a brewer talking about brewhouse efficiency, they're talking about how efficient they are converting starches to sugars. Here, we're about 85 to 90%, which is actually not that great. If we were Anheuser-Busch, we couldn't survive with anything less than about 98, 99%. But that's what gives us character. That's what keeps them from being able to reproduce the beers that we like to drink, is we can operate at that inefficiency. So we'll be in the mash tun for about 1 hour. At the very bottom of the mash tun is a false bottom. The grain and the water will sit on top of that false bottom for about 1 hour. After an hour's time, most of the starches that can be converted to sugar have been converted to sugar. Then we'll start a process called Vorlaufen. Great German word. It just means recirculation. We'll pull the grain, or we'll pour the liquid. Now this sweet liquid is called wort. Every brewer is responsible for creating wort. We're not responsible for creating beer. Our yeast is responsible for creating beer. We'll pull the wort from the very bottom underneath that grain bed and pump it back to the very top of the grain bed. The grain bed will now become a natural filter and keep those solids from leaving the grain bed and being moved over to our brew kettle. If the solids do get into our brew kettle and we boil them, we'll also get a lot more of the astringency as well outside of that grain.